you really see that brotherhood tested.
Yeah.
And it was my absolute favorite
Yeah. Me
scene. I
too.
swear, when I
Me
watched
too.
that scene, I jumped up out my seat. I was like, yeah, yeah.
I did the same thing. I was like, hold on, put that back. We can watch that again. Hold on. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be here with you guys.
Man,
Yeah,
likewise.
it's an honor to be on your show.
Well, I will just get started. On the surface, Cross is a crime drama about a police hunt for a killer, of course, but it delves deeply into themes like racism, cultural identity across different American communities, and socioeconomic realities. What do you believe is the core message that Cross leaves with the audience?
So I think the beauty of the show is that we present the normalcy of our world as it is, and we're not delegating a message rather to the audience specifically. We're inviting them into the world and the conversation so they can understand who we are and what we go through and how we go through it. You know, something that was very, very important for Ben Watkins, our showrunner and show creator, was to show not only sort of an exhilarating crime drama thriller and also to a degree a family drama, because we deal with that as well, but something that is honest and relative to their experience. You know, Cross is a detective, he's also a man, he's also a black man, so we have to show the multifaceted nature of what that is. So when we talk about subject matter, you know, such as subjects of dealing with racism, subjects of dealing with police brutality, or the relationship between police and the black community, we're not speaking about it from sort of a commoditized perspective. We're speaking about it from an honest perspective, because this is exactly what we go through in regular life. So it's just, if it wasn't in there, it wouldn't be natural or honest or true to us. But we're showing the audience what the conversation is. We're not telling them what to think about the conversation. So we allow them to make up their own minds, because they get to understand who we are and where we're at.
But we are bringing them along on a journey so that they can experience this firsthand and then make their own mind up.
Exactly.
And talking about that, were there moments on the set that prompted like personal reflections or conversations about these issues?
Well, I would say most of that was, worked out in the early stages, just because of how much trust we have in Ben Watkins. So Ben Watkins, aside from being a brilliant writer, he's the first black person to helm a narrative about Cross, and with that comes a wealth of quality that is immeasurable, because of the fact that his perspective on it is one that is well-rounded from every angle, but also he has such respect and reverence for how he presents the culture in a safe way, in a way that's engaging, that however he wanted to drive the conversation, we all trusted his leadership, because we understood it was always going to drive to a salient and a positive point.
Yeah, and Ben has such a unique point of view. The way he tells a story, even in the way he prepares us as actors, it's very unique. So when you watch the show, you get a little taste of that.
It's like, you know, Ben says in the writer's room, he said, I believe, I might be paraphrasing here, but when it comes to debate, sides that are debating a conversation, saying, I'm going to present two conversations, both sides have to be right.
Go.
Yeah, go.
That's so awesome, and it really shows. You were also guys talking about like preparing for these roles. All this Detective Cross is a character dealing with so many layers. It deals with so many layers: past traumas, professional challenges, inner violence. He's also a father. How do you balance portraying his vulnerabilities with his resilience?
I just pull from my own personal experiences. I mean, the first time Ben and I sat down to talk about this, we didn't talk about the character at all, or how we wanted the character to be portrayed. We talked about, where we were in our life as men and where I was, and we talked a lot about mental health and going to see therapists, fatherhood, being a husband, things like that. Learning how to really grow up and be a man. I said I never really did. I didn't really know what it meant to truly be a man until I had to learn how to be a father and a husband, right? So where we meet Cross, all of those things I think are fed from personal experiences. So we don't have to work hard to reach for how to engage a situation. All we need to do is understand the anchor of honesty for the character and pull from that from within. And that's where you get the performance that you see on screen. It comes from a real actualized place, from lived experience.
When you were saying that, or how you and Ben spoke in the beginning, that reminds me of when I was brought into the fold. A very similar thing happened. We all sat around. It was producer Umar White, Blaze Ben Watkins was there, and we all sat around with Ben, and we just had a conversation. We weren't talking about the show. We just talked about life, and us, what we were doing. We sat around for hours talking about
around some good tequila.
Yeah, so with some amazing tequila.
Yes.
It's kind of a silly question, but I'm not an actor, of course. Does that make it easier for you? Like, okay, these are all things that are deep between me, so I have to search it, or is it more challenging to go like, okay, now I got to search in myself for these little things?
I mean, how is that for you?
Sometimes you're searching for something that might be there, and you just don't know how to access it. But I think as an actor, I think you always have a little piece of that character inside you. I think that's why it goes to the right person all the time, because there's somebody inside that's speaking out and breathing life into that character for you.
Yeah, and I feel like it's not. So with every character, I tell actors, don't worry about the character scenario, their situation, or whatever. Worry about their motivation. If you understand their why, then you can always. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They could be, astronaut in space. But if you understand why they're out there in space, you can always tie that to why you're even doing this job, why you're even, get up in the morning, right? You can always tie those needs synergistically together. So if you get that, then it comes down to the technical facets of how you want to emote, what you want to portray, and how you want to portray it. What are you trying to bring out of the scene? But when you understand the character's honest nature and their why, the rest of it kind of feels a little seamless.
This is my last question. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really, really enjoy watching you guys on screen. You guys are so great in this series. The series is really, really good. And I imagine for you guys, like, both characters of you have like a lot of different opportunities to shine in different ways. Sometimes it's super physical, sometimes it's super mentally demanded. What was like the most fun scenes or places to be during this series? Like these scenes that you said, oh, this was great.
My favorite scene.
I mean, I'm probably gonna say the same thing, but go ahead.
You seen the whole series, right?
I couldn't see the whole series, no.
Okay, then
how many episodes in did you get?
I got only 3 episodes in.
So okay, you gotta go deep.
And I'm so hooked.
Yeah.
And I was so mad.
He said I'm hooked.
I would say it's either episode 6 or 7, because the thing about Cross and Samson, their brotherhood is so strong. That's lovely, but the truth of it is that when you do have a real familial, this is his brother, so you're going to go through some challenges. So they're, always there for each other, but they've got a little up and down going on, which I love as an audience member because I see this relationship. I love this relationship. I don't want anything to happen. But when I start seeing it get challenged, that's why I'm like, oh no, like, what's going on? And they have a moment. I think it's like 6 or 7.
Discussion.
It's a discussion where you really see that brotherhood tested. Yeah. And it was my absolute favorite scene.
Me too.
I swear, when I watched that scene, I jumped up out my seat. I was like,
I did the same thing. I was like, hold on, put that back. We can watch that again. It was amazing.
It goes there. You know what I mean? But that's the thing I love about the show is that every single character really gets their shot up to bat.
Everyone, like every single character you're gonna see, like they are fully formed, fleshed out characters, and you really get to know who they are.
Exactly. That's the best thing about this show. And like I said, it's a moment.
It's a real civil discussion, I believe. I imagine.
Very
Guys,
simple. Yeah.
Very simple.
Guys, thank you so much. I really say this from a place of honesty. I really enjoyed the show. I think that there's
Thank you.
really, really good chance that it becomes a really, really, really well-known show because it's super fun to watch, super nice, and you guys are both great. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.